Jasmine Crockett stuns Pam Bondi on live TV with a savage comeback, audience left in shock. The lights were blazing hot. Cameras rolled. The air inside the studio felt tense enough to snap. Pam Bondi, with her polished smile and perfectly rehearsed lines, had just delivered what the producers clearly hoped would be the gotcha moment of the night. "You talk about fairness, Jasmine," Pam said, leaning forward, "but tell me, how can someone like you, with so little experience in national policy, claim to understand the real struggles of Americans?" The audience murmured. Some gasped. A few leaned forward in anticipation, as if they knew the next words could make or break the moment. Jasmine Crockett didn't flinch. She didn't even blink. Her hands rested calmly on the desk in front of her, but there was a spark in her eyes, the kind you see in people who have been underestimated one too many times. She smiled. Not smugly, but warmly, the way a teacher might before delivering a lesson that would stick for life. "Pam," Jasmine began, her voice steady, "my experience isn't written in policy papers or measured in years inside a marble building. My experience is measured in the nights I've spent with families who didn't know where their next meal was coming from. It's in the hours I've held the hands of people grieving, or stood in courtrooms defending those who couldn't afford justice." The room fell silent. Pam's smile stiffened, but Jasmine wasn't finished. "You want to talk about understanding struggles? I lived them. I've been the kid who didn't know if the lights would stay on. I've been the daughter of parents who worked 2 jobs just to keep us afloat. And now, I fight so that no child, no matter where they live, has to go through that alone. That's not inexperience, Pam. That's reality." The audience erupted into applause, but Jasmine held up her hand, gently calming them. "Here's the thing," she continued, her tone softening, "it's easy to think experience is only what happens in the halls of power. But sometimes, the best qualifications come from knowing pain, and still choosing kindness. From facing injustice, and still choosing fairness. That's how we heal communities, by remembering we're human first." Pam Bondi opened her mouth to respond, but what happened next caught everyone off guard. From the front row, a woman stood up. She looked to be in her late 50s, wearing a faded denim jacket. "Jasmine," she said, her voice trembling, "you don't know me, but you helped my son 2 years ago when no one else would. You showed up, even though there were no cameras, no votes, and nothing in it for you. My boy is alive today because you cared." Gasps filled the studio. Jasmine's composure faltered for the first time. She placed a hand over her mouth, visibly moved. Pam shifted in her seat. The moment had slipped from a political exchange into something raw and human. Jasmine walked toward the woman, took her hands, and pulled her into a hug. "That," she said quietly into the microphone, "is why we do this." When Jasmine turned back to the stage, the audience was on their feet, not because she had scored political points, but because she had reminded them of something far more important. That compassion is not weakness. That kindness, when paired with courage, can shake even the most polished stage. Pam Bondi said nothing more. She didn't need to. The message was clear, and it wasn't about winning an argument, it was about what it means to stand for something real. As the show went off air, the host's voice cracked just slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, the best comebacks aren't savage because they're sharp. They're savage because they cut through everything false and leave only the truth." And for millions watching at home that night, the truth was simple: empathy is the strongest force in the room. The commercial break hit, but no one moved. Even the camera crew, usually quick to stretch, check their phones, or reset equipment, stood frozen, glancing between Jasmine and the woman in the denim jacket as if they knew something special had just happened. Pam Bondi adjusted her papers, her usual composure restored, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of something, maybe respect, maybe discomfort, maybe both. Jasmine didn't return to her seat right away. She stayed in the aisle, speaking quietly to the woman, who now had tears streaming down her cheeks. Every so often, Jasmine nodded, squeezing the woman's hand like they'd known each other for years. When the cameras came back on, the host leaned forward. "Jasmine," he said, "it's rare that a political debate turns into something, well, like that." Jasmine took her seat again, her voice softer now. "We've gotten so used to seeing politics as combat," she said. "But real leadership isn't about owning the other side. it's about owning our responsibility to each other. Tonight wasn't about me versus Pam. It was about remembering who we're here to serve. The host nodded. Pam gave a small, tight smile, but didn't interrupt. You know, Jasmine continued, looking directly into the camera now, there are people watching this who feel invisible. People who think nobody hears them. And maybe you don't trust politicians, and honestly, I don't blame you. But I need you to know this. There are people in those halls who care. And even if I have to fight uphill every single day, I'll keep showing up for you. Her words hung in the air. You could almost feel the audience leaning forward, wanting to believe. Then something unexpected happened. A young man, maybe in his 20s, called out from the back row, "You helped me too." The crowd turned, and he raised his voice so everyone could hear. "When my dad got deported, you didn't just give us a number to call, you showed up at our door. You sat with my mom for hours. No one else did that." The studio was silent again, but this time it wasn't tension, it was awe. Pam Bondi, perhaps sensing the weight of the moment, leaned into her microphone. "Jasmine," she said slowly, "I came here tonight to challenge your experience. But I think I need to admit something. What you've shown isn't just political experience, it's human experience. And maybe we need more of that." The applause that followed wasn't polite, it was roaring, sustained, almost cathartic. For the rest of the segment, the tone shifted entirely. No more sharp barbs, no more rehearsed talking points. They discussed actual solutions, community programs, and ways to bridge divides. It was still spirited, but now it felt like two people genuinely trying to solve a problem, rather than score points. When the cameras finally cut for the last time, the audience didn't rush out. They stayed. Some walked up to Jasmine. Others shook Pam's hand. There was chatter, laughter, even hugs. As Jasmine stepped outside into the cool night air, the woman in the denim jacket caught up to her one more time. She whispered something only Jasmine could hear, and whatever it was made Jasmine's eyes shine in the dim streetlight. Later, when a reporter asked her what the woman had said, Jasmine smiled. "She told me, you reminded me tonight that there's still good in this world. And honestly, that's worth more than any headline." The clip of that moment would go viral within hours, but Jasmine didn't care about the numbers. What mattered was that, for one night, millions of people had been reminded that empathy wasn't just a nice idea, it was a force strong enough to change the tone of an entire room. And in a world where voices so often shout over each other, that was the loudest victory of all.